Hey guys, so I was tagged to do this by Estelle at Automenta, who is awesome. I will put a link to her video down below, and this tag is really difficult. It's the 10 favorite films tag, and when I first was tagged to do it, within 5 minutes I had a list of 10 movies, and I was actually kind of like satisfied with it at first, but the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I realized that there were so many movies that I could put on that list instead. Basically, I'm just going to read off to you all of the movies that I thought about putting on this list, just in alphabetical order, including the 10 movies that I'm actually going to talk in depth about. There are 75 movies on this list, and I know that's crazy, but I watch a lot of movies, I love a lot of movies, and there are 75 movies that I think could have been in the top 10, but I'm going to go in depth about 10 of them specifically. But here is the 75 in alphabetical order. Across the Universe, Adaptation, American Beauty, American History X, Back to the Future, Beauty and the Beast, Big Fish, Burn After Reading, The Butterfly Effect, Chicago, Dead Poet Society, District 9, Django Unchained, Donnie Darko, Drive, Dr. Strangelove, Edward Scissorhands, Elf, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, 50-50, Fight Club, Finding Nemo, 500 Days of Summer, 4-Year-Old Virgin, Garden State, The General, Ghost Town, Good Will Hunting, Grand Budapest Hotel. As of yesterday, I just saw that movie and had to add it to this list because it's great. I'm going to be doing a full review of that sometime this week. Groundhog Day, Harry Potter, Her, Home Alone, Hook, Hugo, Hunchback, Notre, I Heard Huckabees, I Love You, Phillip Morris, Inception, Inglorious Bastards, Juno, The Kid, The Lion King, Little Miss Sunshine, Lord of the Rings, Mean Girls, Memento, Never Before Christmas, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, 1 Hour Photo, Pineapple Express, Pirates of the Carribean, Pulp Fiction, Punch Drunk Love, Ratatouille, Rear Window, Rocky Horror Picture Show, The Royal Tenenbaums, 7 Chances, Shawshank Redemption, Shutter Island, SLC Punk, Stranger Than Fiction, Source Code, Spirited Away, Super 8, Sweeney Todd, Taxi Driver, Toy Story, The Truman Show, 2001: Space Odyssey, Up, Voyage Down the Lune, Wall-E, and What's Eating Global Grape. So those are the 75 movies that I put on that list, but here are the 10 that I originally put down. The first one is...
What's it like to be alive in that room right now?
I wish I could put my arms around you. Wish I could touch you.
How would you touch me? I'm lying on the moon. Falling in love is a crazy thing to do. It's kind of like a form of socially acceptable insanity.
What does a baby computer call its father?
I don't know what.
Data.
It's so quiet, it's starry place.
Can you feel me with you right now?
I've never loved anyone the way I love you.
Me too. Now we know how.
Million miles away.
Her, directed by Spike Jonze. This is definitely Spike Jonze's best movie to date. It was written by him, and the screenplay is absolutely amazing. He won an Academy Award for it, and it's beautiful, it's really well written, and it's amazingly directed. The cinematography, the acting, the music, the editing, everything about it is wonderful. I did a full review on this actually very recently, and it's definitely the most recent one that I've seen that I've added to like this top 10 list. And you can tell that Spike Jonze is really coming into his own as a director and as a filmmaker and as an artist. The next movie is...
My name is Lieutenant Aldo Rain, and I'm putting together a special team, and I need me 8 soldiers. 8 Jewish American soldiers. Now y'all might have heard rumors about the Armada happening soon. Well, we'll be leaving a little earlier. We're gonna be dropped into France dressed as civilians. Once we're in enemy territory, as a bushwhacking guerrilla army, we're going to be doing one thing, and one thing only. Killing Nazis. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I sure as hell didn't come down from the goddamn Smoky Mountains, cross 5,000 miles of water, fight my way through half of Sicily, and jump out of a fucking airplane to teach the Nazis lessons in humanity. Nazi ain't got no humanity. They're the foot soldiers of a Jew-hating, mass-murdering maniac, and they need to be destroyed.
Inglorious Bastards, directed by Quentin Tarantino, and it came out in 2009. It is definitely my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. I love Quentin Tarantino as a filmmaker, as an artist. His writing is just amazing, and the way he goes about making his movies is just really great. He really just takes control over everything, and to me, Inglorious Bastards is just the best movie that he's done so far, and is definitely my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. Like I said, Christoph Waltz is just kind of has one of the best performances I've ever seen. All of the different things that he conveys as a character, and then like Brad Pitt is really great in his role, and overall I just really love the way this movie was made, the dialogue in it. There are some really long scenes of dialogue that just are really fun to watch, and the ending is absolutely ridiculous but magnificent. The next movie or series of movies is
Home is behind, the world ahead, and there are many paths to tread through shadow to the edge of night, until the stars are all alight. Mist and shadow, cloud and shade, all shall fade, all shall fade.
Lord of the Rings, directed by Peter Jackson. I have been in love with these movies ever since they came out. I have read The Hobbit, but I haven't read the Lord of the Rings books, but I'm definitely planning on doing that soon. But I love the movies so much. They just have the most perfect vibes to them out of any movies I've ever watched, I think. As a whole, I just think they are so beautifully made. The atmosphere and the way they're shot, the way they're acted, the way they're written, the way just the entire world in these movies is built is perfect to me. The effects are amazing, the editing is amazing, the music is amazing, and just everything is so well done. There's no words to describe how much I've loved these movies ever since I first saw them. They make me feel so many different emotions when I'm watching them, and I could totally just sit and watch all of the extended versions of them back to back if I had the time. The next movie is Back to the Future, directed by Robert Zemeckis. I love everything about this movie. It's one of the funnest movies ever. I love Marty McFly as a character. I love pretty much all of the characters are great. The way the story is told is great. I love the way this is shot. I love all the music that's chosen for it. Actually, I really like the trilogy as a whole, although the first movie, of course, is the best one. Doc is one of the best characters ever. And there's just so many great iconic things in this movie. One of the funnest movies ever made. The next movie is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This is my favorite Disney movie ever. This one is kind of overlooked, I think, and I don't really understand that because to me it is the most beautiful musically, and the story is just more complex than any of the other stories in any other Disney movie, in my opinion. Everything in it is just spot on. The music in it, like I've said, is just beautiful. It is so perfect. It is some of the most technically intricate music in any Disney movie, and overall I just really love all of the characters in it. Quasimodo is probably one of my favorite main characters in any movie, and Esmeralda is another one of my favorite characters in any Disney movie, and the villain Frollo, he is just one of the most diabolical, one of the most sickening villains in all of Disney movies. The next movie is WALL-E. This is my favorite Pixar movie. I had a really hard time choosing between WALL-E, Up, and Ratatouille as my favorite Pixar movie. I had to put at least one of them in this, but WALL-E is the first one that came to mind. I just really love the way this movie is done. There's hardly any dialogue for most of the movie, and I think one of my favorite things that movies can do is to juxtapose sound and dialogue with what is happening on screen. And there's hardly any dialogue, so they kind of fill it up with this music from Hello Dolly in there. It's this really like upbeat musical music that's really out of place but also fits perfectly. It's a really powerful decision to do that and works really, really well, and just has some of the most beautiful animation that I've ever seen, and I absolutely just love WALL-E as a character. The next movie is
Those are your hands? Those are your hands?
Edward Scissorhands, directed by Tim Burton. This is my favorite Tim Burton movie. Edward Scissorhands to me is the best original Tim Burton movie, is his best idea. I love the way he combines like this suburbia with this really dark main character. It's really funny because of how it plays with suburbia. This is definitely Danny Elfman's best soundtrack ever. I love Johnny Depp in it. This is like one of his earliest roles. He really becomes the character, and it's one of the main reasons why Johnny Depp is one of my favorite actors, and I really love it, and if you haven't seen it, then you should definitely see it. The next movie is
Is there anybody going to listen to my story? All about the girl who came to stay. She's the kind of girl you want so much it makes you sorry. Still you don't regret a single day. A girl.
Across the Universe, directed by Julie Taymor. This is a Beatles musical movie. It's basically a story that's based around Beatles songs, and I just think it is so beautifully done. It is so well crafted. I love all of the singing performances. I've heard most complaints about how the music is kind of taken too literally in the story itself in the movie, but if you don't like that, you can't deny that the performances themselves in the movie are magnificent, and the arrangements of the Beatles songs are absolutely wonderful. What they do with the Beatles songs and how they make it their own it's just really, really great to listen to. And I just think the way it's shot is really beautiful as well. It's very theatrical, and I just really love theatrical things. And overall, I really love this movie a lot, mostly because of the music and the performances, but also just because I do actually like the story. I like the way that they took the songs and made them literal, and made a literal telling of a story through the songs. The next movie is
I found a whole stack of these tea. Jesus, are you ever sober anymore?
He killed a lot of people in the war.
Is that why you drink?
Are you real?
No. She's still here.
Who? Rachel?
She never left. Remember when we stayed in the cabin in the summer, Teddy? We were so happy. She's here. You can't leave.
I'm not gonna leave. I love you so much.
I'm just bones in a box, Teddy.
No.
I am. You have to wake up.
Go. You're here.
I'm not. You have to face that. But she is. So is he.
Who?
Ladies. I have to go.
Please, I need to hold on to you. Just a little bit longer.
God, please. You have to let me go.
I can't.
Shutter Island, directed by Martin Scorsese. I love Martin Scorsese's movies, and this is definitely my favorite one of his. I mean, he has made so many great movies, but this one definitely is the one that first came to mind when I was making this list, mostly because I just love everything about the way it's crafted. I love the cinematography, especially. I love all the acting. Leonardo DiCaprio is one of my favorite actors, and I love his performance in this movie. I just think this is one of the most beautifully shot Martin Scorsese movies, and it's one of the most beautifully edited. Thelma Shoemaker, who is the editor for pretty much all of Martin Scorsese's movies, did a fantastic job with this. There's certain ways that it's edited that are very specific and kind of hint to certain things that happen later on in the movie, and that are really subtle, that only happen because of the editing, and I think the editing specifically is really successful. I like the decision not to make like original music for this movie. They took from Mahler and John Cage and some other people and put them into this movie, and I think it's just really, really great. And the last movie on this list, the number one movie, the movie that I most likely would say if you ask me what my favorite movie is Donnie Darko, directed by Richard Kelly. I just love everything about this movie. I mean, I've loved it for a long time, and I mean, it just means a lot to me because of that. It has a lot of nostalgic qualities to it because I've watched it for such a long time and I've loved it for such a long time. It's become kind of a cult type of movie. I just really love the way it's made in general. Jake Gyllenhaal has been one of my favorite actors ever since I saw this movie. I love the cinematography. It's got a lot of really unique cinematography, a lot of really great ideas in the camera work and in the editing and in the special effects they're kind of strange but also really interesting. It's basically about time travel and death, and Donnie himself is just such a great character. To me, a very iconic character, and I could really talk about this movie a lot, but I don't want to spoil anything. I'll just tell you that it does have a 6-foot-tall bunny rabbit named Frank in it, which is great. Frank is also a pretty iconic character in my opinion, and just everything, the way that everything is handled in this movie is just wonderful. I loved it so much. So that's the list. I didn't want to go into explaining too much about each movie. I just kind of want you, I put the little clips of movies in here to kind of give you a feel for what they're like. So hopefully you'll be inspired to watch them if you haven't watched any of them yet. And I'll put the entire list of the 75 movies that I listed at the beginning in the description. So if you haven't seen any of the movies on that list, go through it, see if you've missed any of them, and go watch them if you haven't, because I love all of them. They're all really great. If there's any movie on that list that you want to talk about in the comments, then feel free to talk about that. Talk about any of the movies that I just listed in depth. And now I have to tag people. I'm going to tag the people that I usually tag because I really want to know what movies they would put on this list. That is Alicia Gordon, Aaron from Cedar Sun, Scott Place, and Joe from Final Blow Joe. I want to know what they would choose for this list, so I'm going to choose them. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely let me know what you think about everything I talked about, and I'll see you guys very soon.